Hey guys, in this video I'm just going to show you how to write numbers in scientific notation and also how to convert scientific notation numbers back into their decimal form. Now first of all, we'll just have a look at what scientific notation is, and it's basically just a shorthand way of writing numbers with lots and lots of zeros. So either really big numbers or really small numbers, but it's just a way to write them without having to write all the zeros. Now the general form is this here, where we've got some number, and it could be a whole number or it could be a decimal number, and it's multiplied by some multiple of 10. So it could be 10 squared, it could be 10 to the power of 5, it could be 10 to a negative power. So your index up here could change. Now one of the things that you do need to, I guess it's a technicality, is that this number in front, so our A value, it has to be a number greater or including 1, but it can't be a number that is 10 or more. So it has to be a number between 1 and 10. Now if your power up here is a positive number, that's going to represent a really large number, and if it's a negative value up here, it means it's going to be a really small number. So have a look at a couple of examples. First one is we're going to convert some numbers into scientific notation. Now the way we do this is because we're multiplying by multiples of 10, what we're going to be doing is basically just moving our decimal point and counting how many places I move it. So what I'm going to do is, with this one, the decimal point is currently after that 0. In order to write it in scientific notation, that front number has to be a number between 1 and 10. So I'm going to move my decimal until I only have one number in the front. So if I move it 3 places, that is where my decimal would go. So I've moved it 1, 2, 3 places. So I'm going to write it out as 4 multiplied by 10 to the power of 3, because what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be moving the decimal place in order to get back to the original 1, 2, 3 places. And again, it's a positive number up here because it's going to be a large number. Now we'll do one with more zeros. In this one we've got negative 88 with many zeros. So a decimal point, that's the first thing we do is count how many places we move it. It starts here, and in order to write it in notation form, I'm going to have to move my decimal point over to this point here. So I'm just going to count how many places I'm going to be moving it. It'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 places I'm going to have to move it to put it there. So when I write it out, it's going to be negative 8.8 times 10 to the power of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Meaning that when I actually multiply this negative 8.8, I'm going to be moving my decimal 8 places to the right, which will give me that number. Alright, for the next one, now we've got a really small number that we're going to convert, so we should be having a negative index. Now my decimal point's currently here. In order to write in scientific notation, I can only have one number at the front, which is going to be the number 3. So I want to move my decimal point to this position here, so I'm going to count how many places I move it. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 places. So I'm going to write out my number. It's going to be 3.45 times 10 to the power of negative 5, because in order to get back to the original number, I'd have to move my decimal 5 places to the left. And again, it's a small number, which is why we have the negative index. So I guess basically, if you haven't picked up the pattern, if you have a positive index, like this one up here, you're going to be moving your decimal to the right that many places. If you've got a negative index, you're going to be moving it that many places to the left, which is what we're going to do in the next couple of questions. So for these ones, we're going to express these in decimal form. So we're going to write out the full number. So the way I do this is I just write out this front number out here first. So I'm going to write 3.6, and basically I'm going to move my decimal however many places it has here in the same direction. So as I just said, if it's a positive, generally you're going to be moving it to the right that many places. If it's a negative, you're going to be moving it to the left that many places, and you just got to fill in the zeros. So first one, we're going to move it 6 places to the right. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So my decimal is going to be here. You just fill in all the zeros underneath your arches. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the number that I'm going to write in the end So I'll just rewrite it to get rid of that decimal there. It's going to be 3600000. So that's my final answer, is this guy here. Alright, in the next one, it's going to be an even bigger number. So I've got 9.04 times 10 to the power of 10. It's a positive number, so I'm going to be moving my decimal places to the right, 10 places. So I'm going to write out my number, 9.04. I've got to move it 10 places to the right, so we'll start our arches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's where my decimal is going to be now. And I'm just going to fill in the zeros. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I'm just going to rewrite my number again, just because it looks like I have 2 decimals. So my number is going to be 904, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 zeros, and that's my final answer. Now for the next one, it's got a negative power, so I'm going to move my decimal the opposite way. So again, I'm going to start writing out my number first. So I've got 1.23, and I'm just writing it to the right because my 0 is going to be in front over here. So I'm just going to move the opposite way 7 places. So my decimal starts here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 places. So that's where my decimal is going to go. I'm just going to fill in the zeros again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And it's also nice to have a number out the front of your decimal point. So I'm just going to add another 0. So it's 0.000000123. And again, just rewrite it out again so it doesn't look like you have 2 decimals. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3. And you're done. Just one more if you have a negative out the front as well. Just going to rewrite it. I'm going to put the negative way out the front. I'm going to write my 2.43, and I'm going to be moving my decimal 4 places to the left because I've got a negative number. So I'm going to draw my arches, 1, 2, 3, 4 decimal places. So that's where my decimal is going to go. Fill in your zeros. I'll throw one out the front straight away. 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to rewrite the number. Negative 0.000243. So these can be a little bit tricky at first, but as always, with more and more practice, it'll get easier. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time.